Okay, so you're about to see a little radio interview I did. Now, it was recorded over Zoom, and it's going to be broadcast, I think, on Friday on West Limerick Radio in Ireland. It was quite an enjoyable little session. I'm not used to being interviewed. Normally, it's me chatting, and then occasionally I do a bit of an interview myself with a few people. But this chap, now let me see if I can pronounce his name right. Morgan O'Flaherty. Now, you'll probably laugh at my pronunciation because you know what I'm like. I'm pretty bad on Welsh names, Glan, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And Irish, I'm not very good at that either. So sorry, I apologise for the pronunciation there. But this chap, Morgan, he was quite a nice bloke to speak to. An interesting little backstory he told me, which I don't think he minds sharing with you. He got into radio after he had a car accident, and I think he did a sort of course online or something where he did a bit of training on how to do radio work, and then he contacted a few people and got onto West Limerick Radio, where he does a sort of feature once a week. He also does podcasts as well. I'm going to put a link at the bottom of this in the description so you can look up his podcast or a link to the radio. But sit back and enjoy this. I hope you don't mind me blabbering on to a nice chat from Ireland. It wasn't scripted. I didn't know the questions beforehand, so it's a little bit on the hoof, but you know, that's fine. So here we go.
How you doing, folks? How are you doing, guys? You're very welcome. Thanks for tuning into the channel. My name is Morgan O'Flaherty. Got this brilliant opportunity to speak to some fantastic people about some fantastic machinery, farming, whatnot, whatever. The thing I must get used to it. I'm looking at the screen down here, but the camera's actually up there. So if you see me, it's not because of that, it's because of anything else. This evening, we get the chance to speak to a man in the UK by the name of Richard Cornock. Otherwise known as AKA the Funky Farmer. Now, Richard covers everything. He's brilliant. I reached out to Richard and he came back to me, no problem, delighted to help me out. I suppose, look, he covers everything, just from putting a chicken coop together to milking cows, to letting cows out in the field. One of his first videos to hit 1 million views was when he left just leaving cows out after being inside all winter. Leaving them out, seeing running around the pasture. Brilliant, fantastic. People love it. Brilliant. I got a chance to speak to Richard, and Richard, absolute gentleman, couldn't praise him enough. But that's it. Look, this is what Richard had to say. Give a look, give a subscribe, give a like to my videos. Get onto the podcast as well, Morgan O'Flaherty Country Life. The full episode of Richard will be also on that. Be available. Morgan O'Flaherty Country Life. Hit like, hit subscribe on this video, and this is what Richard had to say.
Let me just shut the door while you're playing that thing.
Yep. Richard, how are you doing?
All right, nice to meet you.
Brilliant.
Nice
Richard,
to see you.
for people that well, there's a lot more people know you than they know me. You're Richard Cornock, AKA the Funky Farmer.
Yeah, that's what they call me.
That's what they call you. I suppose, Richard, first of all, I'm wondering myself, and a lot of people probably are wondering, the Funky Farmer. Where did the name?
What, the name?
Yeah, where did the name come from?
Oh, it's a name I used way before YouTube. I just used this bit of fun. I used to just sign off the Funky Farmer, and because obviously when you're younger, you did a little bit more dancing and drinking and stuff.
Yeah.
But now I just rolled it onto YouTube, and probably I am a little bit different in the fact that I like a bit of a joke, and I do dance on top of tractor roofs occasionally. So I think the Funky Farmer is quite apt. Really.
Yeah.
I hope other people do.
Yeah, I actually saw that last night, one of your YouTube videos, and you were dancing up the top of the roof of a massive Ferguson tractor.
I've done it.
Yeah,
I've danced up the roof for the local TV news. Actually, I did it once. They did a Christmas video. People are in the area along to Shakin' Stevens, so I got on top of the tractor roof and had tinsel around my neck dancing to it, and they put me into this video. But I have to say, as I'm getting older, it's harder to climb on the tractor roof. I might end up with just the bonnet next time.
Yeah, you have to get the step ladder, the height, you have to get the step ladder with the 8 steps.
I did use a step ladder, but it's blooming high on a tractor roof when you get up there.
Yeah, it's only a small space. Don't fall off anyway.
It sounds like you've done it.
Yeah.
You should
But
try it anyway.
Richard, I suppose your YouTube channel is very, very successful. You have over 100,000 subscribers. But like, what gave you the inspiration, I suppose, and where was the idea behind it just to start?
It's quite funny actually, because it was almost by accident. Well, it was by accident. I didn't intend to start YouTubing. What happened? I'll tell you. So 10 years ago, I had a book published called A Year on a Dairy Farm.
Brilliant.
It's out of print now, but there's a couple of, I think it might be on eBay or something. What I did for a year, 2000, well, it's actually 2009. The story goes back to 2009. I carried a camera with me on the farm for a year in my top pocket, a digital camera. I photographed the year on the farm with these pictures, and I put it into a book which I gave to Mum and Dad for Christmas. And after that, a lot of people said you should get it published, and I thought, yeah, right, okay, yeah. But anyway, there was a local publisher near me, and I approached them with this idea, and they said, brilliant, we love it, we'd like to publish it as a book. So in 2010, A Year on a Dairy Farm came out, so I did that, and then I thought, right, okay, it'd be quite a nice idea to do some DVDs of A Year on a Dairy Farm based on our farm. So I then bought a digital camera, and I carried that with me for a year on the farm. And at the end of 2011, I'd amassed a massive amount of video.
Yeah.
And it was at that point I realized it was totally impractical to do a DVD, because I would have needed a box set about a mile long, because there was so much footage. And you know, I mean, this is going back 10 years ago when DVDs were more popular than streaming, if you like. People didn't have broadband in the same way as they have now. So I then thought, I'd turn this on its head. I thought, right, I'm not going to be able to do a DVD. I thought, right, do you know what? Why don't I upload some of these videos to YouTube, primarily for my children to see? Because I thought actually it was quite a nice thing for them to watch, because at the time I wasn't living on the farm. So I thought it was quite nice for my kids to watch it on YouTube. And so I started uploading them the year after I'd filmed them. So I filmed 2010. I started uploading January 2011 in the sequence I'd filmed them. So going through the year. And I wasn't planning to be this YouTube personality, if you like. I was just doing videos. In fact, I didn't appear in the early videos. I just filmed and maybe gave a bit of a commentary. And it gradually got sort of traction. People started picking up views and stuff. I was quite surprised because it wasn't intentional. Luckily, I chose the name The Funky Farmer, and I haven't had to, at the start, because I haven't had to change it. You know, it's what I called myself 10 years ago. And then it's rolled on from there, and it's developed into some very interesting little projects. And I'm quite proud that I've been able to do some things, like I've been able to help people, some businesses, and some, you know, charities and things like that through the way, and just do some fun stuff. It's been a pleasure to do it, but also I've been, you know, to help people. But also it's made life on the farm much more interesting for me, because anyone who knows what it's like to work on a farm will realize it is actually quite a solitary, lonely job. And you hear about about mental health issues and stuff. I'm not saying I've got mental health problems, but I'm just saying it helps for me in the fact that it gives me an outlet away from the farm, communicate with other people, and some interesting interaction with people, which you don't get when you're solitary working on a farm.
No, you don't. Like you said, farming can be very, very boring. Like, you know, I won't call it boring, but very, very lonely. And a lot of times, well, you know, it's the same. Although the seasons are very different, it's the same thing. I know that in a month's time we'll be silage making. I know the haymaking will be coming in sort of end of June. You know, I kind of know my cycle of what I'm doing. I've been doing it a very long time, so you know, and this breaks up the flow of that monotony in some ways, because some of it is monotonous. It's, you know, repetitive work, hard work. Yeah, very, very hard work, and very, very long hours as well involved. Yeah. But Richard, I suppose we'll say when you, like, obviously when you started out, you said it was only kind of a plan for your kids to be able to see what you were doing and whatnot. But like, did it come, I suppose, when you said, when you got followers and you got subscribers, did it come as a shock to the system that people are
Well,
watching
it's
me and
massive shock, massive shock, because there is a video somewhere on YouTube going back where I did a thank you video when I reached 500 viewers, and I look at that now and go, my God, that was, I think I'm on about 133,000 subscribers now.
yeah.
And you just don't realize when you're starting on 500 that where you're going to end up, and there is no plan to get where I am now. You know, it's just luck, really. You know, there's plenty of other better YouTubers out there than me. Honestly, I honestly mean this. There's better YouTubers out there than me that make better content than me that haven't got the subscriber base. But then maybe that just comes with time. I mean, I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Next year will be my 10th year of YouTubing. So, you know, I'd say for encouragement purposes, anyone who's having a go, don't look at the fact you've got 2 subscribers. Look at where you might be in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And don't do it for subscribers or views. Do it because you enjoy it, because that's the one key thing I have to say, that I do it because I enjoy it. I'm not driven by getting views on my videos or, you know, how many subscribers I've got. I do it because I really enjoy it. I did some videos back in January. I went to a local farm shop and I went to a local butcher's to buy some stuff, buy some meat for Make It Meat Monday thing. And you know what? I absolutely loved it. I went to interview them. They gave me a tour of the farm shop, showed me the local produce, that side of things like that. I really enjoyed that interview type thing and stuff like that, you know. And also when I sit back and finish making a video, it doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes I just sit back and I just go, do you know what? That's a really nice little video. And from my point of view as well, perhaps there's 2 most important things I like doing is the fact that I'm recording the history of my farm. And I wish, can you imagine if there'd been 100 years ago, and because this farm, we've had this farm 199 years now.
Brilliant.
Can you imagine if my great-grandfather had been out there with his Shire horses and done 2 videos there? What amazing thing that would have been. So I'm recording history, but also I'm recording my children growing up on the farm and their life. And it's a lovely thing. I've got a video of my dad, who's now died 5 years ago. Got a video of my son Harry having his first day on the farm with my dad.
Brilliant.
Because we lived on the farm, and I drove to the farm with my son Harry at 6 o'clock in the morning. My dad's moving the electric fence, and memories like that, they're irreplaceable. You can't, you know. My message to anyone who's doing a YouTube video: do it because you love it, not because you think I want to be a celebrity or a famous. It's not about that. For me, it's not anyway.
Yeah, do you know? But like, I find some of your videos, Richard, you know, like I've watched plenty of dairies and stuff. I watched one of your videos there, going back a while ago now, and you were just inside washing your milking parlour.
Oh yeah.
Just as simple as that. But you know,
I know.
You were just washing it with a brush and just dusting it down. You know, it was perfect. It was just, I don't know, was it the way you spoke or was it the way you talked about what you were doing? But you just made it sound so interesting. You know, you just did, like, you know.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? What you watch on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the same as everyone else. I click on a video and it's not the obvious stuff you think people would onto, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
And some of it's about engaging with the person who's doing it. Some of it's about the content and everything like that, really, you know?
Yeah. And like there was another video you done very recently. It was putting up the chicken coop, and you were fox proofing it. You know, like,
oh yeah,
I think it was 3 segments to it, and I ended up waiting for the 3rd segment. Come on. You know, I knew what you were doing. I knew what you were going to do. You know, it was just.
I find those very satisfying, those sort of videos where I try and build something or create something. I did one a while back where I restored an old Norton trailer that I bought off a friend of mine, Farmer P, and I rubbed all the rust off it and I sanded it down and I filled it and had some welding done on it and I painted it. And do you know what? It's a lovely project. I do like those sort of project videos, if you like, where it goes through. Yeah. Sometimes it's very hard to do these videos because I'm on my own, and the problem is it's very easy to hold a camera and film yourself, but when you actually have to try and do something and film, you probably might notice as well, if I do something with my children, sometimes that's a bit chaotic because
yeah.
Form to it, they're not So sometimes it can be a bit, oh my God, just stop. I've got to film this bit. Oh,
Yeah.
you'll go mad. But that doesn't matter. That's all part of life, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Are you very good at editing, or have you a lot of patience?
I do basic editing. I use very basic software. I use Microsoft Movie Maker, which came free with the
Oh
computer
yeah.
I'm doing. And also, I've got my camcorder plugged in at the moment, but I use a cheap camcorder as well. I use a little Sony camcorder. I'm probably a bit different from a lot of people in the fact that I use a camcorder. A lot of people use or GoPros and stuff. But
Yeah.
I've always liked camcorders because of the zoom on it.
Mhm.
I find that it's very useful for zooming, some things a long way away. And also I use what I do, believe it or not, I use second-hand camcorders because I tend to destroy them on the farm. And the reason I destroy them is the dust gets into them. And that's something I can't really stop. And it really messes up on the lens. It creates dots and stuff.
Yeah.
So I tend to use cheap second-hand ones because otherwise, if I had really expensive equipment, it'd just get trashed.
Same
I
thing.
think the GoPros are probably not as prone to that,
Yeah.
but the camcorders, they seem to get the dust in the lenses, and I've gone through quite a few that I've had to just dump because the dust gets in them. It's too expensive to repair them.
Yeah, but that's okay too. Yeah. Do you know, like,
Well, it is, isn't it?
it's the same thing.
I think everyone who does YouTube's got to find their own way of doing things.
Yeah. Yeah. Find your
There's
own
no
market,
rules.
your own thing, and hopefully it'll work for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But Richard, I suppose, like, some of your video, like anyone that hasn't watched it, it's basically what you cover. It's kind of life on the farm. It's life on a dairy farm, and there could be anything covered in the videos. Like one of your, I suppose we call it your more successful videos, is you spoke about it there recently. It had 1 million views on it, and it was just the one leaving the cows out into the field.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
know?
a really popular one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be doing that soon, but it's when the cows go out at the start of the year, usually sort of beginning of April, mid-April, a bit later this year. The cows run down a track to the field. We always put them in the same little paddock at the start of the year because it gives them the scope to run all over it without having an electric fence and electric trash. So they go into this little paddock, and because of the way the track is, they're sort of funneled into it. So when they come out, they're like fish. They come out and and then they act like a shoal of fish. Actually, they do.
Yeah.
They come into the field and they go up the field like that, and then they sort of take a bit of a, and then they go round the other end and they go.
Yeah.
And that video has had loads of views, and I can see why actually, because it is a very nice video to watch. I think that was filmed in about 2013. Actually, it's a really early one.
Yeah.
And I film it every year since then, and that the others don't get anywhere near the views, but that one there has specifically got over 1 million. I'm not sure how many.
Yeah. It's kind of just one of those feel-good videos.
It is, because at one point I think a couple of the cows take off. They're so excited to get out of the grass. It's a bit like when we all go to the pub when the pub's open after lockdown. We're not going to be running in that bar, aren't we?
The road running.
Mine's fine. No, mine's fine. Let me.
Yeah.
They cows are like that.
Yeah, we'll be all fighting about the first round is on me.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
No, it's one of those just feel good videos. Anyone should go on and watch it, and you'll find it. And
well, we all need a bit of feel good this time of year, don't we? I think
we do. Yeah, for definite. And Richard, I suppose, what's the plan? What's the plan for the? I suppose the next couple of weeks, or what's the plan for the foreseeable future on the farm more than anything else?
It's interesting, yeah, because I don't know whether it's like this for when you get a retrospective on someone's career and they look back on. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about someone on telly or something like that, someone famous, and they look back at their career line and they see what they've done. They obviously didn't plan that at the start. So, they've just become famous of doing the lucky roles and stuff. So my plan on YouTube, there isn't one. Okay, so I've never planned ahead. Well, I do plan a little bit, but I don't think what am I doing next year. But I can tell you a few things that there are kind of like coming up. So obviously the cows are going out, and then also I'm hoping to possibly get Jack on the tractor to do a bit of chain harrowing this week if I've got time. But as far as the future plans on the YouTube channel, I haven't thought deeply about this, but because it's always a bit dangerous to plan ahead. But I'll tell you one thing, right? At the moment, so I moved back into the family farmhouse. You can see it behind me. At the moment, I'm busy doing renovation inside the farmhouse, which I don't film because I have to have a degree of separation from my private life to YouTube, I think. So some things I keep separate. So the family house, people see it in the background. They might suddenly see a video and the curtains have changed, and I won't say anything about that.
Yeah.
But so that takes up a lot of my spare time in the evenings. So, but what I'm thinking of in the future in the evenings is I would really like to get myself a Massey Ferguson 35 tractor to do up.
Yeah.
How about that? That's an exclusive, because the thing is, I've never talked about this before.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of reasons for that. Okay. So the first real reason is we used to have a Massey Ferguson 35 on this farm. So when I grew up, we had a Massey Ferguson 35 with a loader. You know what Massey Ferguson 35 is? Little red tractor, 1960s. Lovely little tractor. And we had it here until about 2003. And what happened then? We bought a brand new McCormick. People have seen it on my videos. McCormick CX95 we bought with a loader, quickie loader. Really lovely, good tractor for us. And at that point, we thought, why are we keeping this old 35 tractor? It's just sitting in a shed. We don't use it very much. So we sold it. Okay. I didn't have any kids then or anything. And it was just what we're going to do with it. So we sold it. And do you know what? I look back on that tractor and I regret we sold that now, because it was a lovely little tractor. Now I've got two boys that are growing up. Harry particularly is quite interested in mechanics, and he loves his model farm and toys and stuff. And I thought, do you know what? I think I'm going to have to buy one of those back. Partly because of the memories of having one on the farm. But I thought, that'd be a really nice project for me and the boys to do up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think YouTube videos, people would love to watch that because people like those sort of videos. But it's not really about that so much. It's about the fact that I've got quite a nice relationship with my boys. You've probably seen them as they're getting older. We're doing things together, like the chickens. They love the chickens we've just got. And I thought that's a great little dad and lad project, isn't it? Do a tractor. And then, do you know what? I'd love to drive it around a few places.
Yeah.
But but the reason that I'm saying that's the sort of future project is that I've really got to spend my time on the farmhouse at the moment. At the moment, I'm boarding a loft out, and that takes ages, just cutting planks and bits of work. So I haven't got time to do a project like that. Or if I did, I'd distract from the house and my wife would kill me. I better off stay alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So let's do the farmhouse. But I'm sort of thinking maybe I don't know, 3 years down the line when I finish sort of doing a lot of the work here. And I reckon that'd be a lovely project, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Fantastic. They're a beautiful little tractor. And we said, what?
I love the old classics.
Yeah, for definitely. I love them. I absolutely love them. And what were the chances? My phone going off here. What were the chances of you getting the original 35 back?
I don't know. I'd have to see if I can find the number plate to start with. I'm not quite sure what number plate it was. It's when you got rid of it 17 years ago, I didn't think to write that down. I might have it somewhere on a photograph or something like that. So but I don't know where it is.
Can we put
that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Can we put an appeal out here, Richard, for this minute?
Well, I don't know the number plate.
We don't need to know the number plate.
If someone knows it, it would be registered as W. Cornock, Newhouse Farm, Titherington, Gloucestershire. That was where it originally came from.
So if anyone out there,
can you imagine buying that back?
If anyone's out there watching this, Richard would love to get his tractor back.
I don't want the loader.
No, you can keep the loader. You can keep the loader because he just wants the tractor.
Keep the loader. I don't need that. I just want the little red tractor.
Yeah.
I wonder where it went. I do wonder. It's probably not very far away. I'm sure it's still around because these tractors last forever, don't they?
They do. They last forever. They're brilliant. I'm sorry to say it, but it will outlive your McCormick.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, the beauty of these old tractors is that anyone can work on them with a spanner, can't they?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like Meccano. You can get it's really brilliant. I love the fact that you can just go out there with simple tools and repair them. The problem with our McCormick, and maybe the tractors that are even new in that, is that most farmers can't touch them.
No.
You know, it's a laptop and a flipping lots of electronic components, and that's going to be a real problem in the future for any classic tractors, because these tractors aren't going to be repairable like the old ones are.
Yeah, I have a video there I recorded with a fellow in the States, Ron Harmons, and he speaks about, he does the big Bud tractors, so big American tractors, but just the same, it's the same thing, it's just they're broke up with AdBlue and everything else, and it's just a nightmare. And he said, no, he told me some of the older tractors were actually were holding their value. Some of the, we'll say, the pre-1990 tractors. And
I can believe that. I can well believe that if you've got one of the bigger, earlier tractors, that a lot of people will maybe go back to that, in the fact that, you know, there's a significant cost of getting a tractor maintained and serviced. And if you can't do it yourself, you know, because I try and do a bit of servicing myself. I can change an oil filter and stuff like that. But, you know, these bigger tractors, it's pretty hard to get on them and do anything yourself.
You're talking some fellow with a laptop and €150 an hour. That's what it really is. Yeah.
Scary, isn't it?
It's like you have one of your videos up there. It's of is it the 135, and they're doing the clutch in it? Do you know?
That's right. Just did the clutch. Lovely little job that was.
Yeah, it's a simple operation. It's just split it. None of the new tractors will be that way.
Yeah, I mean, they split that tractor. I mean, admittedly, these little tractors aren't good on any modern big scale operation, but for what we need it for on the yard squig, absolutely perfect. That's a 50-year-old Massey Ferguson 135. They split it one day, took the old clutch out, got the new one, and put it all back together on the farm. Very simple tools, very good job. And I've been using it since. Perfect, flying, you know?
Yeah,
lovely job.
No laptop required.
No laptop required, yeah. That's right.
Tell me, Richard, I suppose the other question, I suppose a lot of people are wondering, and when you are farming there, what size of an operation do you have, or how big farm, or what are you doing there?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's a very small family farm. I mean, we're at the kind of smaller end of farming, if you like. We're about 130, 135 acres, because we rent a few little fields. 135 acres, milking about 75. Very basic operation. We're still milking through in the breast parlour with sort of on case of cubicles and stuff. It's small scale, low input, low output, and you know, we're never going to be up there with the big guys, and you know, we make a living, you know.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it suits me. I haven't got it in me to be a 300, 400 cow person. You know, that's not what I'm about. My brother milks the cows. We run it together. We run quite a tight ship, so we, you know, we're two families supported on this farm, and we rent a couple of cottages out as well. But we work, you know, most of the labour is our own. I try and do as much of the work as I can myself. So, you know, it's not an easy living on that scale, because, you know, you've got to be really tight with your margins or whatever. But we are quite good at what we do, in the fact that we kind of work, and well, put it this way, we're still here.
Yeah.
And we've worked our way through it all this time. I mean, it's a bit scary what's happening now with this loss of the single farm payment, and you know, the European subsidy, and that change of that, which is because of Brexit we're doing. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen about that, because you've got to try and make that money up some other way. And I believe the UK government are trying to push it into more environmental projects, which I don't mind doing environmental projects, because we are already involved with that. I'm in high-level stewardship and entry-level stewardship. It's whether it will be enough to replace what we're going to lose on those schemes.
Well, I suppose, Richard, my father's a small-time farmer, and subsidies is what really and truthfully the farmer waits on every year. But I suppose the reality, but it's not going to happen, is the farm.
I know.
The farmer should be getting a better margin, a better for his produce.
That's right, 100%. I mean, I don't believe in subsidies, because I think ultimately the farmer should be paid enough to make a proper living, you know. Because if I look at our milk price, it's not that different than it was 20 years ago. Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, and nothing else is like that. I don't go down to Tesco and go, oh, I'd like to pay what I paid for this 20 years ago. Is that all right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't go to I don't go and buy a pair of trousers and I'll give you what they were worth in 2000, please.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't seem acceptable, is it? But it seems to be acceptable in farming terms.
It does. It does, yeah. It's like the fella I spoke to yesterday, he told me he was going shearing his sheep. He's something like 90 sheep. It was €3 to shear a sheep. And I asked him, I said, how much will you get for the wool? And he said, I'll probably get €2. So it was going to cost me €1 to do. That makes no sense.
It's just wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
No.
I look at it on our milk price and I see that there's always a constant battle with the milk buyers saying, oh, you know, whether you can put it up 1p a litre or not. And I think to myself, well, if that pint of milk or litre of milk was in the supermarket and it was 1p a litre more, the public wouldn't even notice that on their shopping.
No.
It's such a minuscule amount on the actual cost of that product. You know, they're happy going to Tesco's and go shopping and pick up some bottles of wine at £6 each or something, or even a litre of water. The water is a classic. If you go and buy a bottle of water, I don't ever buy bottles of water. I can't bring myself to pay money for water. But a bottle of water can be £1 for like half a pint, and you think, well, you buy that, but you know they can't put 1p on milk to give the producer a fair price. There's something wrong there, isn't there?
Yes, no, there's something definitely wrong, without a shadow of a doubt. And a lot of times, just when you go into places, and even if you go into a restaurant, milk is often the cheapest thing on the menu, beverage wise. And 1p is not going.
The work that goes into producing milk is massive compared with water, isn't it?
Yeah, water, you drill a hole in the ground and it comes up.
Should be fairly straightforward, I would have thought. It's not too much of a rare commodity.
No.
I'm sure there'll be arguments against that from the water producers.
There'll be some that leave in a comment. Richard, that's kind of it. I can't think of any more questions. We could talk all night, and we could talk about tractors and cars and cows and farming and everything else. Sure, look, that's it. Anyone that doesn't know you're there, get onto your YouTube channel. It's the Funky Farmer. And
you know, it's been really nice to speak to you, Morgan. I really appreciate you contacting me. I don't get asked to do many interviews. I do a bit of radio occasionally, but you've been a real star. You've been a really good interviewer. I really, you know, straight to the point, really good.
I don't know about that, but thank you very much. No, thank you. Like I said, I reached out to you and you came back to me straight away, and I'm relatively new to all of this, so hopefully
you did a great job. Back on, as they say, or as I say.
Yeah. All compliments greatly appreciated.
Brilliant. Thank you, mate.
Richard, thank you. Thanks very much. How you doing, guys? That was Richard Cornock, the Funky Farmer. Richard, brilliant. Thank you very, very much for giving me the time and coming on here with me. So what can I say to you? Get on, look up his channel if you're not on it already. The Funky Farmer, brilliant. Richard covers everything from, I suppose, the clutch on a 135 to putting a chicken coop together to chickens. His son has a fantastic display of model tractors and a model farm. He covers everything from silage making to the cows running out in the field. It's just a day-to-day life of a dairy farm. Brilliant. And I suppose for myself, get on there, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and hopefully we'll more the same. We have plans for the future. For a couple of friends of mine have tractors, and we're going to get out there and look at their display of tractors and so on and so forth. Like that, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and I hope you enjoyed it. Share, tell a friend, do whatever you have to do, and that's it. Brilliant. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll hopefully have more. Cheers. Bye now. Thank you.